Welcome to the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson.
And thanks for checking out the Art of Money podcast. My name is Mark Owens alongside Art McPherson and Luke McCarty. All the information for the McPherson Financial Group, you can find it at theartofmoneyradio.com. Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, many financial planners base the fees they charge on the size of a client's nest egg. All right, for example, if you're managing $1 million in assets and you're going to charge 1%, well, you're going to make $10,000. Art, some people would say, why are you making more if you're doing the same amount of work? Like, what's your opinion on calculating the fees that you charge?
Well, first of all, it'd be nice to know what you're paying. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do not know what they're paying because a lot of the fees in our industry are not disclosed. They're hidden. So you have to go to your prospectus, or if you're in a 401k plan, they will show some of the partial fees like management fees, but they will not show custodial fees. They'll not show any of the broker-dealer fees, any advisory service fees. Usually the platform fees or custodial fees, things like that, are usually covered by the employer. But when you retire and you're no longer an active employee, those plan fees go to you. So I had one this week that we were talking about the fees. They had no idea they were paying anything, and they weren't paying bad. You know, they're paying about 1%, just like your example here, but they didn't know they were paying it. They didn't see it, and they didn't know how to find it. So one of the things we try to do here, and I think it's one of the things, there's a new rule brought out by the DOL, Department of Labor, that are trying to, I think, be a little bit more accurate in people seeing what they're showing in fees. We do that here. We're a fiduciary-based fee program, so people will see our fees. We show them all in, and they can see them. But there's still some fees in the industry that just are hard to find. So if you're with a 401k, it's very hard to find those fees. Sometimes you have to request those plan documents. You have to get them from a prospectus, something like that. Very, very difficult because our industry has not been very good about showing fees.
Yeah, and in your example, Mark, when you said every client pays the same fee based on the size of their portfolio.
Yeah.
That's not always true. It's not necessarily true at all because, you know, sometimes if you have a larger nest egg, if you have 4 or 5 million, you're going to be paying a different fee because you have different types of investments, right? Your investment world opens up a little bit when you get over the $1 million mark. So you could have some venture capital investments, some private investments, you know, different types of preferred stocks and things that require a larger piece of investment to get into. Mm-hmm. So your fee structure may be completely different at 4 or 5 million. And at that point, you know, we are doing a little bit more work and we are doing some more due diligence because you have more special investments, more different types that aren't available for everybody. But the fee structure just depends on the types of accounts that you have. Not every client here has the same accounts or the same portfolio or the same investments. And, you know, one thing Art mentioned is that, you know, we tell our clients what the fees are. So you know what you were paying, even if you didn't know it, and then you know what our fees are, and you can have an apples to apples comparison.
It's the important part of having the conversation and not being afraid to ask these questions to Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, and the team at the McPherson Financial Group, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. 772-281-5223. And when it comes to asking questions, Luke McCarty, there was a survey that said, if you're in a serious relationship, should significant others know the passwords to each other's phones? Do you know your wife's password to her phone?
I think I do, but she has the really smart phone, and it works on my face. So I don't know her password. Phone. My thumb doesn't work, but somehow my face works. Not that I need it, but hey, Luke, grab my phone. Someone's calling. You look at it. It's weird. My phone is not that technologically advanced.
What about you, Art? Do you know Julie's password to her phone?
I do, and she knows mine.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. I just always forget it. It's not that my wife doesn't want to.
Well, do your face thing. Do your face ID. Then you'll know.
She's not listening. There's a reason I don't get my wife the big new fancy phones because she's going to drop it and break it eventually. So, yeah.
That's why you just got to get her a good case.
No, even those OtterBoxes don't seem to save.
Really?
We are one step above a flip phone in the Owens household. Okay.
Yeah, those OtterBoxes make it too big. You can't put it in your pocket.
Yeah, I've read this story before. But the reason I asked, because in that survey, more than half adults over the age of 55 preferred to keep their passwords private. 25% said, no, it's no problem. I'll share all that information. So my question to you, Art McPherson, in retirement planning, there should be no 50%. There should be no 25%. You need 100% involvement because there are dangers to having only one person with all that financial information.
You have a very good point. And here's what we see a lot of. that person passes away. They basically did everything. Then you have the other spouse that knows nothing. So even if you're able to manage your portfolio successfully today, having a firm to be a backstop for you, for your spouse, sometimes can be huge, or your partner, because there's always one person that's good at it, and then there's one person that doesn't care to do it, or they just do not want to be bothered by it. They just want to make sure the check's there. They want to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. So if you tell them, they're supposed to be making 8% a year, they want to make sure it's doing that, but they're not going to get caught in the weeds. They're not going to watch it every day. They don't want to watch the stock market. They want to play golf, and they want to travel, and they want to do those things. So having somebody, even if you're very, very good at it, and usually about 5% of the people that walk in our door are very good at it, we still partner up with those people, because one of these days, a little bit of dementia, a little bit of Alzheimer's, a little bit of, a stroke. I was just at my dentist, and, he had some medical problems, and he's been out of work for about 6 months. So you never know what can happen that may cause your spouse or your significant other trouble in trying to manage that portfolio, because they've never had to do it.
772-281-5223. Hey, Art McPherson, if I say the name, and I don't expect Luke to know this because he's younger than us. If I say the name Bob Ross, you know who that is, right?
Yeah, he's a curly-haired guy that did all the paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma actually learned to paint by watching him.
Yeah.
She literally would watch his TV show, and she's been passed away for several years, but she taught herself to paint. My dad still has some of her paintings in oil painting, and my gosh, they are phenomenal. But she literally started with the paint by numbers to learn how to kind of get the texture and the flow and how to use the medium, and then literally watching Bob Ross. She would watch him all the time.
It was something about that big afro, and he had that very calming effect. Do you know who we're talking about, Luke?
I do know who Bob Ross is. He's been on TV before, guys. I am alive.
Yes, that's true. He was. He had a TV show for many, many years.
But it looks like, he passed away in the mid-90s. So
they run reruns.
I didn't see him live.
They run reruns.
Yeah, there's reruns. I've seen them.
This old brush and just making little X's, little crisscross strokes. We'll just very quickly drop in just a little warm part in the sky here. And in our world, we can do anything that we want to do here. Any old thing.
I mean, it was like therapy. Listening to
Yeah, he had a very therapeutic voice.
Yes.
Watching him turn something that didn't look like a whole bunch, he's like, I'm going to make this lake, and he would tell you what I don't see it. I don't see it. And all of a sudden, he'd go, add a few tree lines, and all of a sudden there was a tree, and then he'd add this, and he'd add that, and all of a sudden it was like this beautiful oil painting. You're like, holy cow.
I see it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He draws an evergreen tree in like 5 seconds.
I know.
It looks good.
And
it looks amazing. It looks real. Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
It's a pretty little evergreen tree.
Yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
little. So you're right, Luke. He passed away in 95. He signed over the rights to his name, his image, and his likeness, and that prevented his adult son from receiving any inheritance whatsoever. His son even took one of the gentlemen to court and lost over it. So his son can't benefit from all the work that Bob Ross has done. So I bring that up to ask you, Art McPherson, the importance of having an estate plan, because it's not just for you, but it's for your family.
Absolutely, it's for your family. And there's a lot of families nowadays that have this problem. We have a remarriage situation. You've got kids from another marriage from both sides, and they want to make sure that the side, the money that they each have stays with their family line. So they want to make sure that my kids get my part, your kids get your part. And it gets a little more complicated when you have those kind of situations, because you have two people that love their children dearly, but they also love each other dearly. And they want to make sure that each one of them are taken care of. But when they're both gone, they want to make sure that their individual child lines are taken care of fairly. So we can help people do that. And a lot of times you can specify things like that very clearly in a will, but sometimes you might need a trust, so you're able to do that to help protect the kids and the grandkids from losing like the rights. You were just giving that example. You lose all the value of what that is in the future, and all the reruns and all the shows. Because I know most of the time when you have a rerun of a show, it's worth a lot of times like $10,000 to whoever owns that right. So the son's not able to get that, but whoever bought that show or bought the rights of the Bob Ross show. So all the times that Luke has seen a rerun, somebody was making money from that, but it wasn't his son.
So the Bob Ross estate still brings in just under $1 million a year.
Yeah,
just
there you go.
Reruns. And, you can buy, I think it's like some of the Halloween stores sell the Bob Ross costumes and everything.
I've seen those recently, yeah.
Thanks for listening. Want more from Art McPherson of McPherson Financial Group? Find us online at artofmoneyradio.com.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Investment financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A174. 725.
Today's show has been a work of art.